Hello everyone and welcome to your build-up for Liverpool against West Ham United. Kick-off 1 hour away, which means the team lineups are just out. One change for West Ham. It's the one we all expected, really. Obviously, Mikel Antonio out for this week and next week, certainly. It could be 4 to 6 weeks, but we're hopeful he'll be back after the international break when we take on Sheffield United. So Moyes has been forced into one change today, and it's confirmed that Sebastian Haller is starting for West Ham up front. Apart from that, everything is unchanged. So just reading out the starting 11 for those that don't know what the unchanged team is. Fabianski's in goal with a back three of Balbuena, Ogbonna and Aaron Creswell. And then we've got Sofalo Masuaku as wing backs with Declan Rice and Thomas Soucek in midfield. Then we've got Pablo Fornals and Jared Bowen playing off of Sebastian Haller. I'm happy. I'm happy to see Sebastian Haller start out. I still think we could have had one more change in there with the Pablo Fornals thing. I think I'm a little bit wary as to how we're going to get the best out of Sebastian Haller with Fornals in there. I've got no doubt that Fornals deserves to start. He works hard. He suits David Moyes' way of playing and stuff. It's just I don't know if he's got the right characteristics in order to complement Sebastian Haller up front. But this is not the last chance saloon for Sebastian, but he really needs to step up a little bit. I think he's got his doubters among the fan base. And to be honest with you, I think he's got his doubters in the coaching staff as well. It's easy to say that Moyes doesn't like him, but Moyes has got a management team there with him. It's not just David Moyes on his own. I think we can all suggest that Moyes does trust his staff, whether it's Nolan, Irvine, Stuart Pearce, doesn't matter. I think Moyes does trust the team he's got put together. And between them, there'll be someone in there that doesn't trust Sebastian Haller starting. I do think we're going to need a slight change in shape, though, today. I don't think we can continue playing the same way that we've played with Antonio up front, because Sebastian, he's just a different striker, different kind of striker. He's not slow, Sebastian, but he's not got the acceleration that Antonio does, and I think that's key. The bench for West Ham as well, quite important, because we've got one player on there we'll all be looking forward to seeing at some point today, hopefully. We've got Randolph, Issa Diop, Ryan Fredericks, Andre Yarmolenko, Robert Snodgrass, Manuel Lanzini, and Saeed Benrahma. So the new signing is on the bench in line to make his debut at Anfield today. No Mark Noble. It's unknown at present. I say unknown. Some people will know. I don't know if Mark Noble's injured or if he's just chosen Robert Snodgrass. I have to assume Mark Noble's got a knock or something. Otherwise, you'd imagine he'd be on the bench instead of Robert Snodgrass. But Benrahma on the bench as well. So we've got plenty of options on there should we need them. But it's good to see Saeed on there. I think we'll be looking forward to see him come on at some point and hopefully get minutes under his belt. I think the Fulham game's not more important than this one, but there's no pressure on West Ham today. I think pressure's all on Liverpool. They're the champions. They're expected to win this match. And we've got enough points on the board that if we lose today, it's not the end of the world. It's more about the performance for me than the result. But next week when we take on Fulham, we're in Liverpool's shoes. We're the team that was in the Premier League last season. They've just come up. They're not having a great season so far. So it'd be good to get Haller and Benrahma, not necessarily minutes more than anything, ahead of next week's more slightly winnable fixture. And we'll take a little look at the Liverpool side in a little minute. Gonzo's away this weekend. He's not doing any videos for this one, so I'm just on my own. But after I've done this, Charlie and Tom will be live in a watch along. So if you don't have Sky Sports and you don't want to watch the game, don't worry, don't go anywhere. Stick with Tom and Charlie. They'll take you through the 90 minutes and I know what's happening. Right, the Liverpool team. So Alisson's in goal, unfortunately. Then they've got back for Robertson, Phillips, Gomez, and Alexander-Arnold. Now this is the interesting one. Everybody was wondering what they were going to do. No Van Dijk. Fabinho went off with a hamstring injury during the week. Matip had a late fitness test, so we didn't know if Matip was going to play in centre back position. It's Nathan Phillips that they started in there. So there's a good opportunity for us. He's 23 years old, though, so he's not young. He just doesn't have loads of experience. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Sebastian Haller's got to be licking his lips again up against this guy. You just have to. You've got to test him. He could be good enough. I don't know enough about him. I can't really say if he's good enough or not. But what I do know is he's not playing much games for Liverpool. We've got to try and take advantage of that. Apart from that, they've got a strong side. Their midfield three, though, good news for West Ham in here as well. Obviously, Fabinho's out, but there's also no Thiago. So the midfield three is Jordan Henderson, Wijnaldum, and Curtis Jones. Henderson will probably be the one that's sitting in the mid out of those three. I do like Curtis Jones, though. I think he's a decent player, got a decent shot on him, not afraid to shoot. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Then they've got the usual front three of Sadio Mane, Firmino, and Salah. The bench, we'll just quickly rattle through this one, is Shaqiri, Adrian, Milner, Minamino, Nico Williams, Reece Williams, both Williams are on the bench, and Diego Jota as well. So there's no Matip on the bench either. So even if things are going wrong for Liverpool defensively, if the young lad's not getting on too well, they've got to bring on a 19-year-old in place of him. There was talk, though, that they might put Jordan Henderson at centre-back. Obviously, he's starting in the midfield. But I'd be interested in if Klopp feels like the centre-back area needs strength, and you might drop Jordan Henderson into that. I'm happy with the West Ham team. It's what we expected, isn't it? I'm happy with the Liverpool team, actually, from a West Ham perspective. It could be a lot worse. They're missing world-class players, aren't they? Van Dijk, Thiago, and Fabinho out. That's three huge players for them. But the reality is their front three is electric, isn't it? They've scored goals. They'll probably score again today. Their back five, I've seen this with Gonzo in the breakfast video earlier on Patreon. There's been a lot made up about Liverpool having a defensive crisis. They've got four of their first choice back five in there. They're only missing Van Dijk. I know they're technically missing Matip, who would go in there as well. But they've got Robertson, Alexander-Arnold, Gomez and Alisson. That's usually, they'd all start anyway. They are also missing Fabinho, who's sitting in front of that back four. But Jordan Henderson's no mug, is he? Let's face it. He's a really good player. But I'm not as confident as I was. In the preview, I just had a feeling we'd win this one. I still got that feeling a little bit, but I think my mind's taking over my heart a little bit. And my optimism is somewhat coming down a little bit, I suppose. I do think they're there to be got at, and I hope we do have a go at them. I'd like to see us have a go. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't. This is a free hit for West Ham. We've got enough points on the board. We've got a lot more points on the board than we expected at the start of the season. We've been playing better football. When we went to Anfield post-lockdown, we got beat 3-2, and if it wasn't for Alisson's head, we would have got a point at the end as well with Janet Bowen through a goal in his debut. But listen, they're there to be got at. The pressure's all on them, and I think we need to take advantage of that. I do think we'll score, though. I do think we've got at least one goal in us today. Anyway, right, I'm going to get the bet done quickly, and then I'll have a quick chat about my final thoughts and stuff. Now Gonzo comes up with a phrase, doesn't he? You know, Gonzo now comes up with a phrase for the live chat to enter. I'll tell you what, Gonzo is missing, okay? You're right, Gonzo is missing in the live chat. You've entered in the free bet giveaway. So what we're going to do, we're going to create a little bet together. I say together, Gonzo's not here, is he? Just myself. And then if it wins, one of you lot are getting the money. So I think we're going to do Sebastian Haller to score. I'm going to back him. I'm backing our striker here to score. I'll put West Ham to not get beat. So if it's a draw or West Ham win, the bet is still alive as long as Sebastian Haller scored. Someone to get booked. Who do we fancy to get booked? Oh, I'm trying to think of what our midfield, our team is. We're going to have to do a West Ham player, aren't we? Balbuena, maybe Soufal, maybe stick with Soufal. Yeah, we'll stick with Soufal, won't we? He's been booked twice in the last 2 games. We'll stick him in there as well. That'll do. 33-1, I'm having that. Let's get that money on. 170 quid back. Okay, right. So the bet is West Ham to not get booked. Booked. I'm reading the live chat there. West Ham not to lose. Soufal to get yellow card and Sebastian Haller to score. If that bet wins, we're going to give someone £170 to enter in the live chat. Just right, Gonzo is missing, and if that lands, we're going to give it to someone. Just reading the live chat there, and a couple of people talk about the loan deal. We'll speak about that in another video. This is just about the football. Tom and Charlie will be live in 5 minutes approximately, and then I'll be back with a review by myself because just me have a talk. Right, final thoughts. There to be got at. That's the phrase, isn't it? We have to take the game to Liverpool. But they are the champions. They're expected to win. I'm not going to predict a win anymore. I predicted a win in the preview, and I was feeling 1-0. Gonzo said 2-0. And when we did the morning video, I think we were both a little bit hesitant to stick to a West Ham win. I'm going to say 1-1. I think we'll get something from this game, and I'll bet your hand off for a point, by the way. But Chills is saying in the live chat, never has anyone had a better chance to beat them at home since their last loss at home in 2017. And I think that's true. They're missing Thiago, Van Dijk and Fabinho. I mean, it's 3 unbelievable players. You don't get an opportunity to play Liverpool missing all them players at any time. They've got a young centre-back in there, which we've really got to target him. I don't want to see Sebastian Haller up against Joe Gomez. I want to see him staying away from Joe Gomez, get into he'll be playing left centre back, the young lad. Get Sebastian Haller over that side, which is Jared Bowen's side. It makes even more sense for those two to. It's not a 3-5-2, by the way. I've seen some people suggesting that we might be playing Bowen up front with Haller. I asked a couple of people, and it's not. It was just a like-for-like swap with Antonio and Sebastian Haller, so we should be playing the same formation. I hope it's just not the same style. I want to see us get the ball out to the left-hand side, get Masuaku crossing it in for Sebastian. He's one of the best in the league in the air. I'm convinced by that. Myself and Gonzo everyone has the players that you defend a bit too much and you don't like to criticise because you like them a bit more, or maybe you rate them a bit higher than you should, or other people. And Sebastian Haller is one of those players. Manuel Lanzini is one of those players that myself and Gonzo are a bit. We don't criticise enough, probably. And I think Sebastian has his doubters in the fan base, and he's got to turn up today. But we also have to do right by him. We've got to change the way we play. We cannot play the same way as we have done against Leicester, against Wolves, and expect Haller to do what Antonio does. He just can't do it. They're two different types of footballers, and I think we'll be not in trouble. But we saw last week against Man City, when Antonio was on the pitch, we were good. We were causing City problems. As soon as Antonio come off, we started with Yarmolenko up front, and then we had Sebastian Haller up front. It just didn't work because we're still playing this sort of counter-attacking style of football, and we were looking for Antonio, and Antonio wasn't on the pitch, and it was frustrating to see a little bit, but I could understand it because it's a forced substitution during the game. It's difficult, it's hard. You should be prepared for it, but I'm willing to give Moyes and West Ham the benefit of the doubt for that weekend. But we've now had a week. We knew at full-time whistle against Man City, we knew Mikel Antonio probably wasn't going to be playing today. He had their scans at the start of the week. They've now had the boys in training for a whole week with Sebastian Haller. There's no excuses for us not to have adapted the way we've been playing, to get set up, to feed Sebastian Haller the way he wants to play. He likes the ball into his feet. He can win it there, but he prefers it on the deck. But when he's in the box, he likes it in the air then. So we're going to have to change the way we play a little bit in order to accommodate Sebastian. And it's important that you do. You don't pay 45 million for someone, stick him up front, and then treat him like a £4 million striker. You just can't do that. It's stupid, really. But Sebastian's got 2 games. He's got this game and the Fulham game to show Moyes what he can do and make it difficult for Antonio to get back into the starting 11, because the last thing we want is to be sitting here praying for Antonio to come back. When we play Sheffield United, if Antonio is fit, he's got to be on the bench. And he's got to be on the bench because Sebastian Haller has turned up in the last 2 games and we cannot drop him. The last thing we need is be forcing a half-fit, an 80% Mikel Antonio into the team against Sheffield United because Sebastian Haller hasn't done the business in the last 2 games. It's a huge, huge game for Sebastian Haller. I think it's a big game for David Moyes with a few people, and I'm one of those people. I'm quite sceptical. I'm warming to David Moyes, but the reason I'm not jumping on I don't want to call it Moyes in bandwagon. The reason I'm not quite there yet with David Moyes is because I've seen his plan A. I like his plan A. We've played good football. We've won games. I'm waiting to see what his plan B is. Against Man City, I didn't see a plan B. We stuck with plan A with different players and it wasn't working. Today, we need to see we need to see something else. Will we see it? Hopefully. I'm not too sure. I'm very 50-50. I'm worried we're going to be playing the same way as Antonio. My final score prediction, I'm going to stick with 1-1. I think we'll be okay. I'm looking for a good result. I'll bite your hand off for a point. A good performance from them, and hopefully a good performance from Sebastian Haller. And minutes for Ben Rama. I think it's important to try and get Ben Rama on the game. It depends how the game's going, doesn't it? I mean, but then any outcome, if we're 3-0 down, you might as well stick him on. If the game's in the balance, if we're drawing or we're only 1-0 down, then you need to stick him on and try and get a goal. I guess if we're winning narrowly, you can excuse not putting them on because you probably want to pattern midfield out. But anyway, I'm going to start disappearing. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. I'll be back at full time myself with a little review, hopefully celebrating a West Ham win. Tom and Charlie are going to go live in just a minute. Don't go anywhere. If you're not watching the game and that, stick with the boys. They'll talk you through it and have a little interaction with the live chat as well. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you at full time.